All right, here we go.
All right, let's do it.
Your brother, faced with hard luck. Faced with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Your brother, faced with hard luck. Faced with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck.
Good morning and welcome to the Hard Luck Show. I'm your certified host, Steve Lucky Luciano. Sitting across from me is my red brother.
Yeah, Chumahan, born American Indian, elegant barbarian, Southern California.
And the son, from what we hear, rumor has it,
Before, don't ruin the trust.
biological.
Something happened in Carson City, the result of which is
Sean Lewis, certified audio professional engineer.
A.K.A. Old Blue Eyes.
For the Hard Luck Show.
right. Rumor has it,
Rumor has it.
Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
That's it.
Enough.
That's enough.
said. And we've got Big Pick Mike and King Salmon on visuals.
That's right.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
And tonight, very special guest. I'm very excited to welcome back to the show. Actually, two guests, part of the Hard Luck family. Let's welcome LA in the motherfucking house, Conejo. Yeah.
What up, though?
West.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Prime's in the building.
Yeah.
Prime, welcome to the show, Prime. Yeah. What's up, Conejo?
Chilling right here. Raining outside. It's good right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's good for some things, huh?
A bunch of things.
A bunch of things.
Talking about how back in the day, the rain like this was a filter.
Right.
You just do all kinds of shit. You
Shape
could-
shift.
A buffer.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shape shift. You could maneuver.
Yeah, you could do things.
I always had that feeling like I wasn't gonna get busted when it's like that. Like I felt like I was almost invisible. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's too much going on for anybody to like zero in on anybody.
Nobody want to get wet.
Nah, nobody want to
Not
get
even
wet.
The cops.
Right.
Right?
There's
Motherfuckers
no
don't want to
fun
get out
arresting
right.
anybody in the
dog.
rain.
I still got another 6 hours on this shit. These
Right.
motherfuckers don't want
Let's
to
just
fucking go
stay
home
in the
wet
car.
boots.
Yeah, let's just stay in the
Get
car.
another coffee, another donut.
Yeah, right. Well, and you know what, man? I'll say this too, because LA has such great weather most of the time that when it does rain like
yeah.
this, it really does
It's
throw
special.
everything off.
It does. It's like they say, like, you go to other states, they know how to drive when there's snow, when there's rain.
Right.
California, as soon as it starts raining, motherfuckers are careening in and shit.
Careening, they all
don't know
slow
how to
down.
act, bro.
What they call the oil.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
Raise
It
up.
lifts up. And everybody's going like 15 miles an hour. You're like, what the fuck?
Scary.
It's sprinkling. It's
Yeah.
not raining. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But December 9th, before we get into all the other shit, let's talk about maybe one of the greatest shows ever. This year, happening right now, the hottest motherfucking ticket, Conejo,
Yep,
right?
Yep. Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say that one of the hottest shows ever was when we had them on over there in Westwood.
As far as podcast goes,
Yes.
but for live performance where you want shit to go down,
Hell yeah.
Don Quixote, right? What was the address on Olympic?
2811 East Olympic Boulevard.
Right.
It's like the cross street is like Soto and Olympic, right?
To the Sears Tower.
It's
Sears
right
Tower.
by the old Sears building right there.
Nice.
Yep.
Right.
December 9th.
We just we had the walkthrough yesterday.
What happens in a walkthrough?
You just you gotta make sure you know all the escape routes.
Escape routes in case.
You know where you're gonna hide things and where you're gonna be at and where you're
Right,
gonna put your
right.
people at. Then you check the stage, the sound, make sure because this year I'm doing it with a live band,
Right.
so I gotta make sure my squad is like in the right place. Nothing's in their way.
What do you mean you're gonna do
Right.
with the live band? You mean the
Like drummer,
beat and all
bass,
that?
everything.
It's gonna be live.
It's gonna be live.
See, that's why we got to go.
Oh, what was your decision on that? Like, what was your mind at with doing it that way?
And you know what? The thing is that I've been like fucking with musicians for my whole career. As a matter of fact, I've
Yeah.
been fucking with like guitar players, keyboard players, all that. And I actually have a whole EP I did when I was on the run. It's called Planet Exile Conejo. Fools ain't heard it? Go to Spotify, iTunes, all that shit.
Yeah.
and it's a live. It's like some Rage Against the Machine type shit, you know.
Fucking love that.
So I always been doing that, you know. And plus, man, I'm from the West Side. That's our shit.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so you know, and I just went on this the Sinister tour, and I took the live band with me, you know. So I've been doing it as of lately, you know.
Right. And so what is different about doing it with a live band? Like, how is that different? Like, how is the approach different? How is it different?
Like, I'm just gonna go like off of energy. I feel like the energy is just stronger. Like when the fucking drums hit, that shit hits.
Yeah.
And then to me, I hear the bass line when it's just so deep.
Yeah.
Just all those vibrations and just, you know, everything that's going on. I like it. I like spitting to the regular beat because there's some fans that want to hear you like you know how they know it, you know?
Right. They want to hear it how they heard it on the song.
But you know, look, when we went on this tour, I was kind of concerned because I was like, because a lot of my fans, they're like diehard, you know, like they're like, it's a cult following, you know.
Yeah.
So they want to hear it that way, and then so I was like, man, I wonder if you know, they're gonna, you know, like feel some type of way, like what the fuck is this, some rock and roll shit, like, or so, you know.
Right, I didn't pay for this.
Or if you can introduce them to some new shit.
Yeah, so we went, man, we didn't have a issue nowhere we went. Like, they were fucking with it everywhere we went. They were just like, all right. And people were telling us, like, that's this next level CON. This is a next level Conejo. Like, we like this shit.
Yeah.
What I love about what you do, man, it's just so versatile, bro. Like, I mean, I see you on Instagram. I see you doing all this other stuff, and I see, you know, not just with some of the concepts for some of the art that you put up to talk about whatever it is you're doing, right? Like, it's got a sinister quality. It's a little bit like, you know, Diablos. It's kind of scary. It's a little scary, right? Like, I love that shit. But also, like, you know, with the music and the beats and doing shit with, like, a live band, I mean, where do you get the energy to do all this shit, brother?
I mean, I just want to create, you know, and back to like me saying like this on West Side shit. Like when I grew up as a kid, I grew up listening to like Iron Maiden,
right?
You know, whether it was like Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister, Rat,
right,
Van Halen. You know, I was a big Van Halen fan, so I grew up on that shit. So, and then when I started making like hip hop, like I started with my boy Motivate. He was over there on 900 East First Street in the Loft area, and they were all artsy, you know. And that's when I first started digging in the crates. That's when I came across like John Coltrane and Miles Davis and shit like that to sample, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So then, all these like musical things, you know, you take from everything, and that's how I don't feel like I always say that I'll never get writer's block. I'll never feel stuck because I just got so much to pull from. Mm-hmm. And even now, when I went on my journey, I'm in Mexico. I come back, I don't even want to hear English music. All I want to hear is Spanish music, you know, because I'm over there listening to shit. And when I got into it, I'm like, man, this is the new gangster rap, this corrido shit.
Yeah.
This is the new, and this shit's about real shit. There's real stories, real people they're singing about.
Yeah.
So, but see, I have all those influences, so I just like creating and shit, and I like linking up with people that are creative. You know, I always been in my own lane from the beginning. I always been in my own lane, my own sound. I never copied nobody's shit. My shit was just grimy, cause I grew up in that. I grew up in the I came up in the 80s, and then the end of the 80s, and then the whole 90s was just grimy as fuck. So I just wanted to paint that picture. The homies had fucking gold Daytons and all that shit was going on. Like they was the homies that had money and all that, but I didn't have it. I was out there doing fucking robberies in the rain type shit, you know? So that's the music I make. Like those and you know, like, you know, we're having casualties, so I want to rap about that, and then, you know, I'll come across a loop, you know, we're digging through the crates. Oh shit, this shit sound like this us right here, you know?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, man, the whole 90s had like, probably like, you know, hip hop evolves, you know? I'm not gonna say it had the best, but that's my soundtrack. You know, the 90s was like, they had everything, you know, from East Coast and West Coast, you know? Even before the South came up in the picture, you know, like that.
I mean, when you said Robberies in the Rain?
Yup.
That sounded like a fucking album title or a
It
song
is.
to me. Robberies in the Rain.
That's my next T-shirt. Robberies in
Yeah,
the Rain.
I fucking love that. That was
a good one.
really dope.
That's a good
dope,
one.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like I said, we went on tour with the band. We played. I didn't even get like, they send messages like, you fucking up. Well, sometimes you see some messages, but it's like a dude that he ain't even ever even
Right.
purchased nothing from you or nothing. He just want to complain,
Right.
Oh, it's always a motherfucker like that. When you look at him, like, it's a motherfucker that's got 5 followers and no posts.
Shit.
That got some shit to
Yeah,
say.
he got
You
some
know what
shit
I'm
to
saying? Like,
say.
shut the fuck out of here.
Well, you know what,
Lame.
man? Half
Fuck
of my,
lame.
half of my career is just fucking stepping on the heads of motherfuckers like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, hey,
good.
right? Hey, just say you hate me. I don't give a shit. That don't make me none
Yeah.
at all, right? That's part of it,
Yep.
right? Especially if you're putting something out there that you care about, that's saying something, that's doing something. Some people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" or "I don't get this," or whatever. It's like, good, you're not supposed to, motherfucker. Next,
Yeah.
right?
So I just that's how I was been doing music. So I'm gonna just stay in my lane and do it the way I do it.
Can I ask you? Maybe we talked about it last time, but I want to talk about it again. Can I ask you, why the name Conejo? Where does that come from?
All right, I'm gonna tell you the how it started. When I got put on the hood, they used to call me Little Tricks. I got jumped into the hood on 20 in between Catalina and Budlong in the white apartments on 27th in the back. They put me in the hood back there. Big Tricks, who's rest in peace now, he was like, I'm gonna call you Little Tricks. Really, I wanted to be Little Bandit because my older bro, they call him Bandit, but they're like, nah, you're gonna be Little Tricks.
Yeah.
And then when the riots hit in 1992, we was out there fucking wilding out, and then there was a Pep Boys on the corner of Hoover and Washington.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we hit Pep Boys. We rushed that shit. And then while we were in there, they had the little market carts type, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But I was just loading them up with spray cans. So we're fucking everything up, riding and then so I had been like fucking with the idea like tricks. It sounds kind of, I was already like thinking like 16, 15, 16. I was like, man, I need something more like serious and shit. Like tricks sounded like I was still a kid,
Yeah.
Even
like-
though I was still a kid at 16, I just and there was other conejos from my neighborhood, like there, in every generation there's probably like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And then the first time I hit up on the wall was on the corner of 23rd and Hoover. There was one of those machines where you go fill up your water, like the 5-gallon ones.
Right.
I climbed up on top and caught a spot, like a landmark where I knew they were gonna paint it. So that was the first time I just wrote Conejo HLS DE, and that was it. That
And
was
it
the
just-
birth right there.
Stuck right there.
Yeah, and then it went straight into the music. So I would say Conejo Tricks. So all my original songs, you hear Conejo Tricks. Like from almost the riots, I was already like saying it, but right there it became official in the LA riots.
Now, maybe you don't remember, or maybe you can't really talk too much about it, but I am interested, like, at what point when a riot goes off, right? Like a real riot. Like, say, I mean,
And I'm talking about the LA riots.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
talking about the 92?
Yeah.
yeah, the big, all right. And I get it.
Not the one 3 years ago.
No.
The real one.
The real one, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
So at what point, right, when it starts popping off, does somebody, like, is there an energy that you feel where it's like, oh yeah, like we're going out?
All right, I'm gonna tell you how we started in the house. We were watching the news, right? And we're watching and shit's burning. And a few hours in, I'm like, man, them fools are running out with shit. And then, so we just went and got when you buy the trash bags, the black ones, the big ones.
Yeah,
So
hefty.
they come with the rolls, right?
Yeah.
So we just grabbed the rolls and we headed out straight to LA to just come up.
Right.
And we just did what
What
when in Rome you do as the Romans.
Yeah.
But I mean, is there like an energy as well? Like did it feel like everybody was doing it together?
I don't know. I feel like me and my boys were doing it together. We were a team.
Yeah.
What
'Cause
about
it was teams? I seen teams out there working
Yeah,
together.
for sure.
right?
So I was with my team, and we were all. I mean, even though my house was a little team, but we joined the bigger team, and we just,
Work together.
work together. And
Big Lux, what about you? I mean, I can't remember if that was when you helped some guys.
Yeah, bro.
Help some guys with a brand new living room set.
But I think my understanding of the story was like I think a few guys got the idea to steal some equipment or something from somewhere, and then how did that go? If you can tell it, I don't know.
Yeah, they were loading up a truck out of Sam Goody's right there at Sunset and motherfucking La Brea. And me and Esteban were rolling around. And I remember that. I had a fucking Quete with me, and I was like looking at these two dudes, and they had it almost loaded. And Esteban had a little Datsun truck. These guys are loading up like a Ram truck. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them. It's a white, like half Mexican, half white dude and a brother together doing this shit, right? I'm like looking at them like they kind of look square. So I was like,
Fuck it, let's get 'em.
what's this? I go, man, just pull up over this motherfucking ride right here, dog. And he pulls up right next to him. And the dude's coming right out again, dog, with like this fucking new microwave box. And I'm like, hey, man, bring that motherfucker over here. And I said, he just looked at me and was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at the other dude. I was like, hey, man, you should start putting that shit in this truck right here, dog. And I had them do all the lifting, dog.
That's
they loaded up the
genius.
truck, bro. And I think there was like 5 or 6 things left in their truck that wouldn't fit in our truck. I made them give us all the good shit. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, man, you guys, you know, he was like, can we just, and I was like, yeah, keep the rest of it. We got in the car and we drove off, you know. We left all the bunk shit.
I
but
love that
there's
story.
definitely an energy.
Yeah.
You know, I know me and Esteban, I don't know that motherfuckers were with us. Everybody was about their business.
Yeah.
But me and Esteban were like, we're about it. It was like, it was no holds barred, bro.
Yeah,
It's
you
never
could
like
just-
that.
You could just do whatever you
wanted.
wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, like I even had like crackheads working for me and shit. Like,
All right, here's a list.
no, I was like, you know, like, hey, so you see like living room set walking down the street,
Yeah,
like,
dog.
I'm over here like fucking like
Directing
an
traffic.
Directing traffic.
that way.
Yeah.
And then, you know, slide them a piece and shit.
Yeah,
And that's it,
bro.
you know. But yeah, that was a
It was crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was.
I love stories from that time.
It was never gonna be like that again.
Nah,
like
never.
they think they had some shit going on with this little bullshit that happened, dude. Like,
Yeah.
this motherfucking city was on fire, bro. This city was on fire, and nobody was coming to help your ass. Like, you could do what the fuck you wanted. Nobody was. If you saw a cop, you would catch a quick glimpse because they'd be speeding off somewhere.
Yeah.
But they weren't stopping. They weren't looking. They weren't doing shit, dude.
I remember like on the last day, like they were like, it's gonna be a curfew at see, I don't know what month it was, so I don't know the time, but it's about to get dark. And you know, it was like 10 minutes too. And they were like a fucking military squadron type. Well, the soldiers were out. I think it was
National Guard.
Was
Guard.
it the National Guard?
Yeah, they were out. And I remember they had like a little baby tank on the corner of
Baby tank.
Yeah, it was some little
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Some little
They had
shit.
tanks in here. They had little
Baby
tanks.
tank,
Yeah.
man. You know shit's
It was
going
like
on.
a city tank.
Right.
Yeah, so we were on Hoover at Hoover Park, right?
Yeah.
And right across the street there's a big wall, and we're like mobbing it up, and they're standing there, they're waiting, because as soon as it turns that time, they was gonna run. They were already marching, like boom boom. They were like a few steps, post up, like riot gear, like ready, and we're just riding in front of them, and like right when it was like 10 seconds to boom, we're so deep, they rushed us, but we're so deep, we're just jumping over, like going from one street to another, and
Right.
and like there were stories right there that like the homie we were talking about it last time. The homie was telling me that, well, it was curfew, so like I don't know what agency it was, but they were like in plain clothes, regular cars. They were pulling up, catching homies, fucking them up, like gunpoint, like don't move, and beating them up, and then taking off. But they were like some
Like to send a message and shit.
send a message, you know?
Like,
they could get away with shit too, you know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So
I seen about 10 of them lined up at a donut shop. They were all going to get their donuts. that
Yum,
night.
yum, donut.
Fuck this. Yeah. Yeah, man, it was crazy. The riots. You know.
Fucking love those stories, dude. I almost feel like there should almost be like a series or something.
There maybe somebody should have done a fucking a mini series called the LA Riots.
Hell
right?
yeah.
Of
All the different
that were going-
stories.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a good idea. You have to take that out of the episode right now so nobody gets
Do you know how
it.
many gems come on this
Dude,
show?
you know, hey, that'd be a good one, huh?
Yup. American Horror Story's gonna do us. You know how they use the same actors in there.
Dude, that's true. American Horror Story, like 5 LA Riots.
Yup.
Oh, I fucking love that. Yeah. So, in terms of albums and new music, what's coming up for you, Conejo? Like, what are you?
I just been working on that same album. The Reset is done. We just been mixing it, but like even though I've been working on that this whole year, I just checked the other day. I already dropped 22 singles this year.
Man.
So just like
Really?
quietly, I just been like
Quietly.
just like letting them go, like just to add to the catalog, you know, just so that you know the homies have a little fix.
Right. And then what about the podcast, man? I see that popping up all the time, your story that you're laying out there. How's that going?
It's cool. It's going good. Like we're gonna come back. I'm gonna come back with a new season, but I'm waiting because the next season I got planned is gonna be stupid crazy, and you know, and I've been waiting because you know a lot of people in it are dead, so that's the cool part.
Right.
So I can tell the story a little bit more comfortable, you know, and you know that I'm just waiting. I mean, I gotta feel it too,
Right.
To get on the mic and you know like
What do you
I just been busy.
What do you discover, or what did you learn? Like, what are some observations that you made from your experience from doing the first season? Like, what did you sense about?
I noticed that motherfuckers loved it. Like when I dropped season 1, like, cause you know we did the sound design, we did all that. Like fools got into it. You know, fools were like, the only complaint was like, oh man, they're too short. But
Right.
we did that on purpose. It, like keep them fiending and then you know we'll break it up but like you could read the comments, they're right there on. You could see what they say. The fools are like, man, that's my shit. I lived through that. Like in their own little world, they live that. You know, everybody could relate in a certain way. You know,
Right. And has anyone approached you about like, hey, let's turn this into a fucking movie or a series?
Yeah, fools have. You know, there's little talks going on about stuff.
Right. Steven Spielberg, he's come to you and said, hey, we're gonna make this movie.
George Lucas,
Right.
all of them.
You got to tell him though, he's got to fix his hair first. That,
You're
that hair's crazy.
constantly, bro. You're like filming different stuff. It was like you're Mexico doing, you know, like what's going on with all that, bro? Can you share with us?
Yeah.
Because all these listeners want to know, bro. I'm telling you.
Well, like, you know, I think wherever I go, I like to like get some content and share it with everybody.
Right.
First of all, because some fools don't get to go nowhere. They just hear and then they kind of see it through you, you know. So I went to the UK with my girl. So, and it's crazy because I was kind of worried because I remember I say it in the podcast. I had did a song with this dude from Monterrey, Mexico, right? In the middle of the pandemic. So I'm like, man, let me shoot a video. And people with visas, they weren't letting them cross into the U.S., right? The border was locked down for people with visas. So he couldn't come over here. But I could go over there because I'm an American citizen. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go over there. So there was no direct flight. You had to fly into Mexico City. I flew into Mexico City, and their computer went off when they scanned my passport. And these dudes jumped out. They detained me. They put me in a holding tank for like 4 hours, then they moved me to another one for another 4 hours. I was like, man.
For what?
I couldn't see. They won't tell you. You know, I seen when it flashed. Something happened. Something popped up on the screen. And then they were like, you tell me. I was like, why? What happened right there? And then they're like, no, you tell us. We don't tell you nothing. You tell us. And then
Damn.
So
I mean, what the fuck are you talking about?
So I was flagged for something, right? Yeah. Maybe because I just, whatever, like my past or whatever. So now we're gonna go to the UK, and I had got my shit fixed, everything. I had a letter from Homeland Security saying that I was cleared, like there was no issues, but I still had it. Like I didn't want to get sent back because they didn't let me stay in Mexico. In the end, they're like, nah, you're getting deported out of here. You're going back to your country. You're not allowed to step a foot in here. I'm like, man, I'm in Mexico all the time. They're like, you're not stepping in Mexico City. You got to go back.
Man.
So they flew me back, right? And so now I'm worried about landing in Heathrow So, you know, it's a 10-hour flight, 11-hour flight, smooth flight, no turbulence. But, you know, when you come down to that last hour, you start thinking about it like, fuck. You know, all right. So I land right there in Heathrow, and then fucking, there was nobody in customs. It was like all digital. You scan your shit, you get a green light, boom, go through. And then I seen like some, you know, immigration dudes, like, I guess, you know, London dudes or whatever, and they were just like talking like they didn't give a fuck. I was like, man, I should have brought a fucking vape pen.
Right.
Because I didn't want to take nothing or nothing, you know. Cause
So
I'm
you
like,
just went and did the digital thing and nothing happened?
nothing happened.
So what was up with Mexico?
I don't know. But then, but it really wasn't Mexico. Really, it was something in the U.S. But it flagged, like, Mexico was like, yo, what's up with this dude right here?
That's so crazy because so essentially something in the U.S. caused the Mexican thing to kind of like flag or whatever.
Yeah. And I found out what it was. What it is that there was a dude that's on the run with a similar name to mine.
What?
Yeah. And he had been on the run like 8 or 10 years or something like that. They've been looking for him, you know. He's never came back. He just crossed. They knew he crossed into Mexico, and he never came back. So I'm over there arguing like, man, that motherfucker's probably dead. Like, there's no telling what homeboy where he at. And you know, the dude, I remember they said he had a tattoo that said Wendy on one of his shoulders. I'm like, I don't got no Wendy on my shit.
Hey, you know what's crazy about that is that for them to be that specific on that dude and concerned about that, and like you said, nobody's seen him for 10 years, but just recently, the United States had, I think they call him LaBarbie.
Yeah.
The United States had LaBarbie deported to the United States, right? Like, hey, we're gonna fucking.
Well, he's American though.
Well, he wasn't in America, right?
Yeah, they got him over there.
Right. And I don't know exactly. I mean, I think he might have even been represented in the Narcos series. Like, LaBarbie was in there. I see Prime nodding his head. What are you saying, Prime? Yeah, he
I'm not
was.
sure
I'm not asking you. Maybe you don't.
He was in the Chapo one on Netflix, the Chapo series.
Right, but he okay, so they deported him or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah.
So I'm reading the fucking news.
He's MIA. He's out of the feds, yeah.
The Mexican government is asking the United States government, hey, what'd you guys do with motherfucking LaBarbie?
Yeah.
And the federal prison database people and everybody like, well, I mean, LaBarbie who? Oh, it's not in the fucking him. We don't know. We don't know where he is.
It's just mysterious.
Do you think, I mean, and listen, I mean, do you
Some
think...
Illuminati shit, huh?
Damn.
Look, if I read it from this article, the Beltran Leyva cartel, so-and-so, and this is on the news, so I'm only reading what's on the news. This isn't anything that I know. Bloodthirsty narcos in Mexican history was serving 49 years in Florida, but is no longer registered as being in U.S. custody. What does that mean to you, Big Lex? I mean, we don't know.
Somebody signed him off somewhere.
Yeah, he cut a deal.
Yeah, dog. I mean, he's no longer what?
He's no longer registered.
Registered. That sounds like we unregistered him.
Yeah.
Like somebody else re-registered him.
It says that the cartel chief does not appear to be in the custody of the United States Federal Bureau of Prisons, where he is serving a sentence running until 2056. And El País has run a search of the database, and he's not turning up. When was the last time you ever heard of anyone in federal prison
Getting lost in the shuffle?
disappearing?
Never.
I mean, you've done some, you've gone away for a minute or two in state. Did they ever forget about you,
No.
Big Lex? Did they ever just be like, yeah, we don't know?
No. I never even heard of that happening before, to be honest.
A spokesman, right? Listen to this. The spokesman for U.S. Corrections said, look, guys, hey,
We get a lot of guys in and out of prison.
there are a number of reasons why an inmate may be listed as not in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons. A spokesperson for the U.S. Corrections Agency said, inmates who are previously in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons or who have not served their sentence may be out of custody for a period of time to attend court hearings. I mean, who knows? I mean, a lot of shit happens around here. You know, we lose people out. I mean, who can tell? That sounds insane to me. So if they're like trying to find somebody that they got another country looking for that guy, whoever that is, and it fucked up your travel plans, how is it possible that that the U.S. government loses somebody in their custody? There's no way that that's done without some kind of deal being made.
I mean, he probably has a new identity now.
Yeah.
He's probably in Europe, Spain, somewhere.
Brazil.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. He's cooking up some motherfucking ribeye steaks in Brazil.
Yeah.
With a little gaucho. With a
So
little fucking teepee and fucking out there on the range, bro.
I was trying to think about in my mind, right? Like, I was trying to think about, like, for a situation like that, I feel like...
Guy like that's got enough money to pay a lot of people.
Yeah. Nah, he made a deal.
If it's a straight money thing, I'd be more surprised if it was a straight money deal. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'd be more surprised. Also, it seems like at the time that he was coming in, I don't know that he would, quote unquote, have any real useful knowledge for anybody to cut a deal, right? I'm saying that. I'm not, whatever. I don't think that. But I'm also starting to wonder, like, what use would the federal government, like you said, oh, he's in Europe eating steaks or whatever. What use would the federal government have
for like an expert witness now?
Right.
I mean, he knows shit.
Or could you set him up in another country as a businessman who's gonna live large, but is gonna fuck up that other country or do something in that other country that a regular civilian can't?
Nah, he's like 50 by now. How old is he?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
He's like 50. He's probably just like, fuck it. I'm good. I'm done.
I just think that's fucking insane.
I mean, shit. I can't imagine.
I mean, but you know,
you got $20-30 million to send somewhere, and let's figure out how some people are gonna divvy that shit up, man.
Is it part of the problem with that one? I mean, that makes sense, but also part of the problem with that one is you got for whatever reason, the Mexican federales are like, no, we need to figure out where that guy's at. Like they're making it. It wasn't like.
Yeah, why is it that they're the ones discovering this?
And why are they pushing it in the press? See what I mean? Like if you did get, let's say there was some palms that were.
The bigger question is then why isn't the United States quieting him down?
Or why is the United States openly kind of saying like, yeah, we don't know? Like, why would you? If you were in the Bureau of Prisons or you had some sort of play to make, you might not say that unless you wanted people to know. Oh yeah, we can.
We can make things go away here. Even you.
Right.
Right.
Or we can make it so
There's
that
new rules to the game.
There's new rules to the game.
Yeah.
There's got to be something like
shit's
that.
evolving.
Right?
Yeah, we're open to do business now.
We're open to do business with people who are our friends.
Yeah.
And whoever's looking for you down south is not going to be able to find you.
I bet you too, though, man. The other thing is, and I'm not going to say for sure, but I would think that to get a deal like that, it don't matter how much money you got, you're going to have to give up some other things to get that deal.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Primes is like, yeah.
Like, you're going to have to give us fucking 5 guys just a little bit smaller than you for us to fucking cut you loose. You're going to have to give us some intel or something where we got something big.
Well, those dudes at that level, like, this is documented. They were dealing with the Mexican government.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're into, like, they know, like, government shit.
That's what I kind of like lean towards that. That makes sense to me. So like maybe someone in the U.S. who used to be in partnership with somebody in the Mexican government, the person in the Mexican government got big for his britches or whatever, and maybe LaBarbie was like, "Oh, I know how to help you with that, and you're gonna deal with that situation, and
Right.
in return, right, you're gonna lose me in the shuffle." And the United States was like, we were supposed to turn him back over to you guys. Now you guys don't know where to
Well, if
fuck.
that guy's got stronger influence on the Mexican government, then he's valuable to the United States.
I think so. I think that if he, I think
And once that's the case, then they'll make anything happen so they can get what they want.
this is pure speculation, but I think you could make a case that somebody in the Mexican government pissed off somebody in the United States government. And then someone in the United States government really wanted the Mexican government, whoever that was, to know, like, yeah, this guy that's dangerous, that probably hates your fucking guts too, and probably knows where all your friends are and all that stuff. He's no longer around. We don't know where he is. We don't know where he is. So now what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Shit.
That's like high level fucking.
Yep.
That's some like Push the Twilight Zone fucking soundtrack song right now.
Yeah. That's some stuff we probably ain't gonna be able to figure out all the ways on those ones.
I just thought it was so. I mean, it just struck me as crazily odd because I'd never seen a news article like that before. Like I'd never seen that posited, and I didn't even see the U.S. government deny that they lost them. I'd never seen that before in the news. I'd never seen that.
I'd seen another article that said that the feds lost $2 trillion and don't know where it's at. Right. $2 trillion.
When was that?
Recently.
No, but what did they lose?
$2 trillion.
But I mean, how did they tell somebody like, yeah, we lost?
Somebody did an audit of some shit and came across it.
When I read about
and they kind of, the IRS is kind of like, we don't know where it's at. We don't know what happened. And it's been kind of tucked away.
Right. Well, when I read about
who's keeping count of shit like that? Right?
Well, when I read about drone and drone warfare and how that shit got developed, right? When you start reading how military procurement deals are done, right? So you've got guys who are in charge of, like, military dudes, like general and top brass, who are in charge of okaying contracts. Billion-dollar contracts.
Right.
And then you have the people who supply those contracts. And with everyone that supplies, like, an aircraft carrier, right? We're talking about a multi-billion dollars just for one motherfucker. All the welds, there are so many subcontractors
Taking a piece of that thing?
Oh, bro. It's almost nearly impossible and baked into the process that everyone's getting a little piece of whatever. And $2 trillion, you might actually come away thinking, like, how is it they only lost $2 trillion?
Right.
Not to mention, when we do aid internationally, right? Like, you hear about, like, almost every country, we're supplying them with some cash. We put little conditions on it, right? Everyone who receives the cash in the international side, a lot of those dudes is crooked as a witch's nose, bro.
They said $2 trillion to get an idea of it is if you gave every fucking person in the United States $65,000.
Imagine that, and during COVID, they gave everyone like a couple $100.
Yeah.
That's what they could scratch up. And that only tells you how much money there really is out there.
Oh, yeah. Because I can guarantee you that $2 trillion went out to about 20, 30 families.
Bro, now you're going to want to get me started talking about big pharma, and then we're going to get crazy, bro. All right, let's not, well, man.
Let's not get canceled, guys.
We're gonna get canceled and shit,
Nah, I feel like if they were going to cancel us, they would have canceled us long ago.
Hey, Conejo, when you going to make your own movie?
Yeah, man.
When you going to do your own movie, dog? I know that's coming down the line.
I
for
mean,
you.
I just need like the right production team. I need the right budget. I don't want to do no fucking shit that looks like some VHS shit. It's gotta look right.
Some YouTube movie?
Right.
Yeah, it's gotta look like, whoever plays Conejo, that fool gotta be a, like, fucking actor, theater background where it's just he could pull it off like right.
Right.
And then I would be involved because I seen the shit, so it would just have to be done right. It would have to be like one of these big like networks that level, that quality, some HBO Max shit,
Yeah.
Really execute this motherfucker.
Yeah, because you don't want to like It's a cool story. You don't want to just fucking.
Not only that,
hell
it's got your fucking name on it. You gotta be like, fuck, this thing better be a motherfucking hit. It ain't gonna be put out some fucking.
It's like when I watch on Ray Charles, the movie.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie like 20 times and shit. I like that movie, you know?
What is it that you like about the Ray Charles movie?
I just like that, he came from nothing, and then, he worked his way up, and then, but he had all these obstacles. No matter on his climb, he just had all this, either by him or by someone. I was trying to I dig the story. It's a cool
But
story.
it's the thing about what you're saying about him. I don't know that people can really understand the obstacle. I mean, he wasn't just African American black.
He's blind.
He was blind.
Yes.
And he was African American black when it was like really racist. Like it wasn't no easy walk.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I like watching that movie. It's just like his brother dies, his mom is like influential,
And he just keeps going.
yeah, it's crazy. So I like movies like that.
Yeah, I do too, man. I fucking love movies like that. I would say the only other kinds of movies that I like, and it's not, you know what? I never really talk about this. Powwow Highway. Powwow Highway.
Never heard of it.
I know, and it's probably one of the most influential movies in my life, and it's about Indians, and it's by Indians, and it's like one of the first real reservation Indian movies. And like in the first scene, a dude buys like a beater car, an Indian buys a beater car with a whole bunch of weed, and there's like a fucking like a mother, like a Catholic Mary on the dashboard, and he just rips it off and throws it out the window without even thinking about it.
Right.
Right, because he's Indian.
Right.
That was the first time as a kid I'd ever seen that attitude. That's not our religion.
Right.
We don't come from that, right? And the other one is Running Brave.
I didn't see that either.
It's the story about Olympic runner, Indian from the Rosebud Reservation, I think it was. True story. And this was an Indian who was a great runner in like 1960s, I want to say. And, the thing opens up. I can relate so much. The thing opens up and his dad gets him a haircut. He had long hair. He was a boy. His long hair, but his dad wanted him to get into like regular life or whatever, the modern times. And they cut his hair short. And his grandpa hates it. And this guy goes on, Billy Mills. This guy goes on to win the Olympic gold. And it's such an accurate depiction of how hard it is to be on a reservation and keep hope. Not just because it's so hard, but because some of the people around you are struggling too. And also what the white world was like for Billy Mills when he was doing that, and how he had to try to figure out some kind of way to move ahead and then become one of the greatest athletes of all time. I'm telling you, I highly recommend that movie if you like stories about overcoming.
There's this movie, like when I was over there in Mexico, I got introduced to the Afro-Cuban religions, right?
Yeah.
And somehow I came across this singer, this Puerto Rican singer named Héctor Lavoe. And then I just got on into this dude's music. This dude is like he's like a Puerto Rican Chalino Sanchez or a Puerto Rican Tupac. Like he sings from the gut, from the soul. So, and this dude, he goes from Puerto Rico to New York, and then he links up with this label. It's a major label, salsa label. It's called Fania, and he starts dabbling with dope, and this dude becomes major. And then in the movie, Mark Anthony plays him, and J-Lo plays his wife, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
So, and then you see that relationship, how they're fighting, and he's always high, and then he tries to get off the shit, and then he goes back to the shit. His son commits suicide. He ends up like dying of AIDS.
Man.
But the movie's dope as fuck. Like you see the journey where he could, we should have pulled out right there. And then, he would have been all good. But then, it was probably meant for that to go down,
What was the name of the artist?
The artist's name is Héctor Lavoe. The movie's called Cantante.
Cantante.
And I always thought like, man, I'm gonna get that on my neck. El Cantante. It's a sad song. It's about this dude. Some dude wrote the song for him, and then he sang it. but the songs is like a sad song. The dude's like, he's just like telling people like, yeah, you see that I'm fucking selling millions of records, or I'm doing it. I got bitches, I got everything, but you don't know the other side of me. I'm fucking sad. I'm a fucking dolphin. I'm all this other shit, and my life's so I live a fucked up life, you know. So I like that. I like because I feel like I live that in a way, you know. Like I always say that, like when like fools like they try to praise me, I get emotional. Like I get like, man, I don't know, because I feel like I don't know. It fucks with me, cause I just feel like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I just it's not that I don't feel I deserve it, but I'm just like going, like moving. That's it.
You know, man, I kind of like understand that, because there are other parts to us. Like a real human has like multiple parts, and some of them are dark, some of them are sad. And sometimes the passion that it takes to take whatever this fucking life is going to give you and keep going is born out of a lot of motherfucking pain early on.
Yeah. So, and like when we go back to what you asked me about the music,
Yeah.
that's how I make my music, through that pain.
I fucking love that, man.
You know, that's how I do it. Like I don't care. I don't care about no trend or no nothing. That's not important to me. The only thing that is making music that's like real to me, and you know, that's from the heart, and you know, at the end of the day, it's like I'm a fucking reporter. I'm here to like fucking document what the fuck is going on, you know? Because the other homie don't know how to rap. This fool don't know how to fucking, he ain't no poet. He, you know, so I could do that, you know? So I do that for myself, and I do that for, like, I'm like the voice for the voiceless, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I just, the Reset, that's the new album. And it's about that. On the Reset, I was, you know, I'm gonna spit G shit all day, whatever, bars and you know, like all this, whatever. But on the Reset, I went back to like, I got songs on there that are about my life for reals, like what I'm living now, you know, what it is to like have a son, and what it is to this and that. Cause even like I remember when I had my first daughter, I didn't see that happen. I was in Mexico. The mom crossed over to the U.S., had her over here. I didn't see it, so I didn't feel nothing. I just got a call like, "Hey, you have a daughter," and it happened. Here, you know, phones were barely having pictures, but we weren't trying to do that. And then my second daughter, that's when I got back. The 4-year-old, she was born. That shit happened like in 20 minutes. It's like 20 minutes to the hospital, 20, and then like another 20, 30 minutes. It happened so quick. And then my girl had her sister there, and her comadre was right there. So I was like, they kind of pushed me out the way. But the last one, my son, Joseph, that shit was emotional as fuck, because this fool was just choking on his fucking cord. He was gonna kill my girl. Like all this shit was going on. And and then it's in COVID. So my girl's having the baby, and they're over there telling her to keep the fucking mask on. And then I remember they said, "Oh, we're gonna have to give her fentanyl." And I was like, "Hell nah, you better give her some other shit." So
Right, Advil.
like just not fentanyl. I mean, I've been hearing shit about fentanyl, so I was like, nah, not that, some other shit. And then finally they do the C-section on her, and that shit fucked me up. So they hand me them. I cut it. No, I don't cut it. I think I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But that umbilical cord is tougher than you fucking think.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, you're like cutting through that. I went like that.
Right, dude. It was like fucking hard as fuck.
And then you turn that
They
into
didn't say
something.
nothing to me. They didn't tell me nothing.
And my girl turned that into something, some kind of like pills. After that, they dry it
Yeah,
up.
my wife did the same thing, dude.
So-
She was fucking eating that thing.
So they took my wife away to go sew her up. It took a long ass time, and I'm right here with this little boy, and I love my daughters different. They're my girls, but when I now have a boy, it's like
Right.
I know how I love this fool. I just looking at him like, damn, that's my little man right there. So I just, shit like that, So that's what the Reset's about. Those type of feelings, and just getting back, and the family situation, and just
The Reset.
Why is
it's
it
like
called
a Reset?
Why is it called a reset?
Cause I feel like I got like a second chance at life, you know, and
Yeah.
there was no fucking telling, you know, when you're in that situation, there's no telling if you're gonna even make it home. You know, there is no. I was right there. Fools were getting crazy numbers,
Right.
you know, and I remember when one day they came, my lawyer came to see me, right? I think I told you this before, and he said like, hey, they're offering you 3 years, and that was the bad news. He told me I got good news and bad news. And I was like, nah, I'll take it. And he's like, nah, I could get something better. And I was like, man, there is no better. I don't want to play with it. Like, so I
Right.
just charge it to the game and let me keep, you know. And I remember when I told like some of the guys, man, they got sad because they were looking at, you know, some of the homies fighting death penalty cases and shit like that. So they were just like, damn, 3 years, you know. And I could see the look in their face, like the way they look, like, man, if I got out for 3 years, what will my life be like?
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I feel like it's the reset, and I said this on the other homies podcast. Like I feel like, cause fools be like, man, shave your head. The fuck is that? I'm over here rocking the comb over and all this shit, or just like on my, you know, on my shit, like what, like however I want to look or dress, and fools think that they remember that old picture of me when I was banged out.
Yeah.
They think that's me, and I should stay like that. So that's why I tell the homies, I'm like, man, I ain't come back to wear no fucking Rams, Dodgers, Lakers, none of that shit. No Raiders, none of that. Not that I have something against the teams, but I feel I ain't come back for that. I can't go to fucking the UK. I was in Glasgow. I was in fucking Belfast in Ireland. I was just like seeing life, like seeing. I like people, you know. And I remember this one time, right? When I was on the run. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was in downtown. I would never go around Revolution, but I was like on the fucking cusp of it, like because there was this bomb ass restaurant right there, right?
Yeah.
And then I go, and there was a black dude there eating, and he was hungover. I hadn't talked to a black dude in like fucking since I went on the run. So I'm eating there, and like he's next to me. I'm, what's up, man? What's going on? And then he ends up telling me his whole story. He said he was the what is it, a merchant marine or whatever.
Yeah.
And he told me this whole story, how they were on a helicopter and they kind of like went over into North Korea's fucking their fly zone because their shit got frozen. And the jets pulled up on them like, we're about to blow your shit out the air. And I was just like eating tacos, hearing this. We're like, yeah, damn, that's crazy, bro. And he was just like, he had been partying with the chicks right there, and he was looking for his boy.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I'm saying. I just like people, and I just want to talk to people from anywhere, you know, just meet people and just see people's customs and just hear what the fuck they got to say, you know? Because, like, going out there, I came back inspired as fuck. I was in Liverpool.
Yeah.
I made my way back to Liverpool. I love Liverpool. You know, I was at the bar where the
England's
Beatles used to
dope.
play. I was just fucking up IPAs all over the UK. That was my shit.
And the UK's were fucking rock and roll. Fucking a lot of rock and rolls for fucking there, dude.
Did it blow your mind to be in the same fucking places that the Beatles were? Like you actually are sitting here now, and you're fucking. Did that blow your mind?
It did. You know what? It's like a little alleyway before you get to that bar, and then it's all like little bricks and shit like that. Then you go down. It was like I think it was a bomb shelter. That makes sense. It became a pub. You know, you go all the way down.
Yeah, that's how British do it. They turn everything into a bar or a pub.
Yeah. So then, I don't know. To me, I was just like sitting there drinking. You know, and the thing is, over there on IPA, to me, I'm like, these dudes drink Guinness since they're 5 and shit. That's nothing to them. You know, they drink over there for reals.
Yeah, they really do.
They throw them
do.
back.
It's part of the culture.
Part of the culture.
Hey, what was the weirdest thing about being in England? Was there anything where you were like, that's kind of weird? That's
I mean, I don't know.
Did you eat any curry?
Nah. I ate some clam chowder though.
Right. Did you try the fish and chips over there?
Yeah, fish and chips.
That's what they do good over there. Is that fucking fish and chips.
That's like their McDonald's #1 combo and shit. The fish and chips and shit. That's like the go-to.
When I was in London, I ate some of the best fucking. Because India was right, was there.
They colonized India.
right?
East India Tea Company, dude. They fucking.
Some of the best fucking curry I've ever had in my life.
And
Indian
you know-
food in fucking London, bro.
And you know what? Like London is so like fucking
It's
diverse,
dope, bro.
crazy.
It's dope.
Everybody's there.
One
There's
of the
like-
most beautiful cities I've ever been in.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love London. And when I got to London, I remember because when I lived in New York, I loved like Soho and Tribeca.
Yeah.
So when I went to London, I realized, why, this looks just like Soho. That's where they got all the flags coming off the buildings and that
Soho
whole
looks
lofty,
like that.
exactly. That's where
Right.
it comes from.
Yeah,
You know, and it
that's
was
right.
like, but that plus me walking around, like Led Zeppelin was living over there.
Yeah.
Fucking the Stones and fucking the Cream,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what, dude? It's just like that town is electric, bro.
Yeah.
Bowie, like all the greats. I'm just like, everything you look at, it's just like, that's just fucking dope, dude. It's been there for hundreds of years, you know?
That's why I tell the homies, I'm like, man, get the fuck out of LA. Like, you gotta go experience cause you know, like our LA state of mind is small. We don't ever want to leave.
Right.
To even like the homies go as far as Vegas and then they turn back.
Right.
like-
I mean, that's true.
They go, no, I think we're going too far. Let's go.
I mean, I know homies from LA that never been to the beach.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, I
That
think
couple homies from Santa Monica never been to the beach.
no, but I think partially too, though, some folks just don't have the opportunity, so they make the best of it, right? So they're like,
Yeah.
I'm not ever, I'm not in a situation where I'm going to get to go to London, right? So I'm going to make being in LA the best thing because I'm here.
I get it. I'm not like hating on them for
I
that.
don't think that at all. I'm not saying
I'm
that.
just saying, like, if they could get out, you should go out and see that. At least go to New York,
but I think
Chicago, at least.
deep dish.
You know?
The thing of it is, though, dude, what I see when I see you is somebody who is an example that it can happen for you. Like where you came from and where you started out and what you were facing and all that stuff. If you can get to London, I think for a lot of young people who don't think they've got options yet, they can look at you and be like, you know what? It is possible. I can go to London. And I'm not necessarily saying you do it for that reason, but I do think it's important. Dude, representation matters. You know what, man? One of the reasons why I wear braids to court is because people don't see Indians anywhere. You really don't. And when you do, you think like, oh, this is like, there's somebody at either a casino or they're fucking in a teepee or they're, somewhere else. But you don't see an Indian participating directly in modern culture and there and showing up and being like, yeah. And I do that partially because I definitely feel other Indians need to hear an Indian that's not saying the same old shit that it's always said.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not dogging it out because it's a real thing and it matters. But also it does matter for young natives, young Indians to see somebody doing podcasts, being a lawyer, going out there, and it's not always stuck doing what society says.
Yeah.
The Indian guy should be doing
Exactly.
What you call it? When I was in Colombia, right? I was over there for a month in Bogota.
Yeah.
We were shooting a movie, and we were shooting in this, like, it looked like some fucking Brazilian favela type shit, like in the hood. But it was dope. Colombian people are beautiful people. They're like nice as fuck, right? And so we're in this hood, right? And then base camp, that's like where wardrobe, where you eat, all the shit.
Yeah.
Was across the street from this bar, right? So I'm walking from where we're actually shooting back to base camp. And then I'm just hearing Vicente Fernandez loud. I'm like, who the fuck is playing that?
Yeah.
I'm hearing Ramon Ayala. I'm hearing all the the classic Mexican shit loud. And then I go inside base camp and I keep hearing it,
Yeah.
I'm hearing Los Bukis. I'm hearing all this shit, Los Tigres del Norte, all these bands, right? And they're like, it's coming from the bar. And I'm like, that's all they're playing, Mexican music. So I go over there to the bar and I, I tell the dude right there, I'm like, parce, ¿por qué? Why you fools playing this shit? He's like, that's all we play in this bar, Mexican music. And then one of the dudes was telling me that Mexican culture has influenced Colombia so much that to the point that when a Colombian dude dies, they take mariachi to the burial.
Wow.
What the hell?
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
So
About that.
So I just like Colombia, that's another spot. I just went. I was just kind of humbled, like, because I wasn't shooting every day, and there was days when I was just off, so I just go like fucking explore. I jump in the Uber. I met this one fool, little Uber driver. Fool smoke weed, all that shit, and that fool, you just call him up. What's up? You available? Yeah. Put gas in the shit. We'll kidnap that fool for the day, like,
right.
Man, we want to take you to eat, put gas in your shit, and pay you. And fucking, we just explore, like, I want to see all that shit. Like, I remember I went to a recording studio over there in Colombia, right? And it was crazy because I was trying to get a studio, and I fucking Googled some studios, and they were all giving me a hard time. They could tell my accent. Nah, well, you got to get 4 hours and up. I was like, fine, I'll get them. And they were just, well, we'll call you back. But nobody was calling me back. So I tell the taxi driver, I'm like, hey, none of your boys got a recording studio? He goes, nah, but my boy sings reggaeton. He knows. So they call this reggaeton dude up.
Yeah.
He calls me. We're on like a three-way, whatever. He's like, yeah, it's going to cost you this much. I'm like, fine, hook it up.
Yeah.
We go over there. And then my boy was in Mexico City. My boy that raps with me, Blvd.
Yeah.
He finds out I'm in Colombia. He's been to Colombia like 50. He loves Colombia. He's been there like 15 times. He's like, hey, you're over there? Man, I'm gonna get a flight. I'll call you back. So he showed up. Now we're at the studio now. We're recording, right?
Yeah.
Chilling. And then we get done. It's nighttime. The Bogota looks like, it kind of looks like Bel Air, like the area where I was cruising through. It kind of looked like Bel Air mixed with like Wilshire, mixed with Mulholland Drive. It just looks sick as fuck. And it sort of looks like fucking Canal and Bourbon, like Canal. In New Orleans. That the big street.
Yeah.
There's a street like that. And then I was like, I remember I told him, I'm like, now take me to the fucking hood. I want to see some shit. Like, take me to the grimiest spot. And he's like, you sure? Yeah, take me. So we went, and man, that shit looked like fucking MacArthur Park in 91. That shit was, it was
grimy.
Hell yeah, that shit was like my expectations. I was just like,
all right, that's enough. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah, no, there was like, there was like prostitutes on the street, crack kids. Over there, they smoke super crack. It's called bazuco. It's like the base of the when they make the cocaine. It's like they call it bazuco because that shit's flammable. They light it, it goes up like a bazooka.
Super crack.
So we're seeing this shit, right? And I'm like, man, this shit it's intense, It looked like the 90s and over there, Westlake area, like.
Yeah, it's dope smokers. Everybody's got their high beams on.
Yeah. and the Uber dude's like, hey man, get in already, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to breathe this shit. I want to see what it's like.
I always want to take a blast.
Yeah, no. Just stand downwind from this guy.
Like, let me get
Let
a blast.
the wind contact super bazooka.
Hey, I'll be clowning. We'll be on the set. And like the workers, I'll be clowning. I became boys with all of them,
Yeah.
And they like to hear, like, they'll be like, oh, this fool's Mexican, and me, I'm easy going. We could fuck around and, and then get our jokes on and all that shit, right? And I'll be like, what's up? You fools want some bazuco? They'll be like, hell nah, that shit ain't coming back.
That shit'll ruin your life. Ruin your life. Yeah.
No, sir.
Yep, but I had
that.
a lot of fun out there in Colombia. And then I made a pit stop in Panama on the way back. And it's crazy because the national bird of Panama is a harpy eagle. And I'm from Westside Harpies. So when you get off the plane in the airport in Panama, there's a big-ass harpy eagle right there on the whole wall. So I was just like, damn.
Did you put a picture
Yeah,
of the heart? I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a bad motherfucker.
And my girl found a harpy eagle feather. So...
No, you can't fuck with that.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's cool. I enjoyed it. I like that type of shit. And I'm saying every time I go out, I come back inspired. Like, you pick up game. Like,
hell yeah.
You pick up like not necessarily game, but you pick up like on culture.
You pick up a better understanding of like that this ain't all there is.
Yeah.
We ain't the only ones. There's motherfucking millions of motherfuckers making it happen without the United States consent.
And look, when I was right there in Liverpool, right, some dude sends me a message, right? And then he's like, hey, I'm out here. I'm gonna let me tattoo on you. I'm like, nah. I didn't want to say no, but he was like, let me do a piece on you. I'm like, oh man. I'm like drinking. I'm walking around with my girl. Like I'm not in the like a mind state for a tattoo.
Right.
But he's like, I got some gifts for you. Let me pull up on you. So he came from Manchester, I think.
Manchester.
He smashed over there. It took him a minute. And I was getting ready to leave, and he showed up, and there was this 6 foot tall white dude, but he was banged out. He was like a homie, and all his he gave me his tattoo book like with all his lettering. It was influenced by, it looked like fucking big sleep shit, Deffer shit. It looked like it was all LA'd out, and so that was another thing. I was like, damn, we've influenced LA, man. We've influenced this whole shit. This whole fucking planet, as a matter of fact.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, like we're everywhere, you know?
Hell yeah.
And I don't know, I thought that was pretty dope, you know?
Well, Reset, right?
Reset. Also December 9th.
December 9th.
Conejo Christmas.
Yeah, the
Right.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare
Four. This is our fourth one.
I
Remember
love
we
it.
were at the one 2 years ago?
Yeah, I remember. I
Yeah.
loved it. That fucking crowd was live.
And I linked him up with Mr. D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I hooked him up with Mr. D. I guess Mr. D's going to pop up over there that night, too.
All right, well.
I think he came with us that one year, didn't he? Him and Jeff? And Schwartz was there, too?
To the show?
Schwartz was there. And I do remember a bigger fella. There was like a kind of a big fella. Yeah, maybe Jeff and D
And
did show.
D did come.
All
I think so.
I know is that Conejo rolled out the red carpet. When we went back, we got some cool ass fucking pics. The crowd was live. That shit was bomb.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
hell yeah, it was.
And I'm
Remember I was there that night? You're like, I think Tempo's going to come through.
Yeah, I heard he was.
Yeah.
And I never listen. I never said, I haven't even cleared it, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, I'm willing to take an hour off the recording show to make sure that we can be there for our friend, Mr. Conejo,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Show
yep.
our proper respects and see a fantastic motherfucking show.
That's for sure. December 9th at Conejo Rapper.
Yeah, that's the IG, Conejo Rapper.
Right. This show's going to be at Don Quixote.
2811 East Olympic Boulevard.
Right.
Cross Street of Soto.
Right.
Olympic and Soto.
Right.
It's going to be me and Chino XL, Misfit Soto, Trouble Kid. Coyote is going to be there.
Right.
It's like the Nightmare Before Christmas becoming a fucking festival.
That's
Right.
right.
You know,
It
it's
needs to be a
festival.
festival.
I heard
Yep.
Big Lux is going to be there
Big
from
Lux,
your favorite
man.
podcast.
Hard Luck's going to be in the fucking
Right.
building.
So if you're
Absolutely.
listening to this, Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds, you show up. You might get your ass kicked by Chumahan and Hard Luck, your favorite podcast.
yeah.
You show up there.
But, this is L.A., man. You got to come out, man, for the
Yeah.
real L.A. shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So, listen, man, give my man a follow. Check out his music. Check out his new album that's coming out. And December 9th, get some tickets. Come on through or come to the door and pay. We'll all be there. And we'll be putting up our flyers. We'll be storing our flyers. So when you're listening to this, keep our stories out. We'll have flyers up so you can get all the information. I hope to see you guys December 9th. Conejo.
I got to tell you, Conejo is maybe my favorite guest. Always. I love this guy. He's a good
Damn. What you got?
dude. Ovando Bowen LLP, we wear braids to court. Let the tomahawks fly. The best legal representation, civil, that money can buy.
Excellent. You got anything, Big Pick Mike?
Yeah, I got Mike Angelo Photography on IG. Hit me up. You need some shots. We'll get it done.
Yes, sir.
Get it done.
King Salmon.
DragonBags.com. With a Z.
Get to
Very
21 quicker.
Get to 21.
Get to 21
Faster.
faster.
How about you, Sean? Oh, Blue Eyes.
www.hardluckshow.com.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sean at Movement.
Nah.
Nah.
Look, if you don't have a podcast, fuck your podcast.
Yeah, fuck
Listen to this podcast.
Fuck
I'm done trying to help people with their podcast. Fuck them.
Yeah, I like this, Sean.
Prime. What you got, Prime? What you got for us,
Prime.
It's Prime Films.
Prime Films.
Prime Films. That's
out.
it.
Keep an eye out for
That's
that,
it,
bro.
baby.
More talented people.
Yeah.
Conejo, you want to say anything? You want to give any final shout outs, anything like that?
Man, just shout out to everybody in LA. Pull up to the show. Come fuck with me. I'm gonna fuck with you. And That's it. That's the Nightmare Before Christmas 4. Shout out to the homies from the Underground Hip Hop blog that put this event together.
Yeah.
Latin Beast TV, the Hard Luck Show.
Yeah.
The whole squad right here.
Yeah.
And you already know SK Mob's in the motherfucking building.
Yeah, you better believe it, man.
Yeah.
Conejo from the west side of Los.
That's
all right?
it.
Peep out Conejo rapper, all right, at IG and check out his music. www.supermaxhardware.com. Peep us out for the holidays. Cookies SF at Cookies SF at Vibes Rolling Papers. Big shout out to Burner, the whole Cookies Vibes family. Shout out to Esteban, Oreo, and the Soul Assassins. Big shout out to Conejo for coming down tonight. And our sponsor, Pulpo Beard Oil,
Right.
Calico, Instagram Jesus, and
Instagram Jesus, soon to be TikTok Jesus.
that's right. So IG, TikTok, Jesus, we're sending our best out to you. And Enzo's Pizzeria in Westwood Village. Hey, Enzo's, thank you for all the great food. And smoke vibes. Vibes. Hasta la vista. We're out here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fucking hard like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fucking hard like that. Fucking, I was infected from my foot. Fucking, I was infected from my foot. Fucking, I was infected from my foot.